We're going to flash back for a second. Remember Bram Stoker's Dracula? Okay, the beginning, when Dracula is off fighting the Turks, and his wife, thinking that he's dead, throws herself to her death off the tower and into the river? Well, this actually happened, sort of. During the pre-discussed conflict, an ally of Vlad's shot an arrow into his wife's tower, warning of Radu's approaching army invading Wallachia. She threw herself from the tower into the river, being quoted as saying that she would rather have her body rot and be eaten by the fishes than be led into captivity by the Turks. When Vlad first took the throne, the goal of his reign was to gain vengeance against those who had participated in the murder of his father and eldest brother. It took him about a decade or so, but Vlad actually attained his goal. Around 1457, on an Easter Sunday, Vlad found out the participants and families of those who were involved in the murders. He had the older of these killed by impalement immediately, along with their entire families. The younger, however, he enslaved, forcing them to work until their clothes fell off their bodies, and then again forcing them to work naked. Those who did not die from exhaustion, he had impaled as well. German stories of Vlad's atrocities include his use of impalement, torture, burning, skinning, roasting, and boiling. He also liked to feed his prisoners flesh of their friends and family, sometimes cutting off limbs, or the use of drowning. Now, you didn't have to do much to receive one of these punishments. Basically, all you had to do was displease Vlad. And he wasn't biased whatsoever. It didn't matter your age, sex, religion, or class. You were open. Vlad's preferred method of torture and execution happened to be impalement, i.e. Vlad the Impaler. Now, as far as impalement goes, it worked basically like this. A horse was tied to each one of the victim's legs, while the stake was gradually worked through the body. Now, the stake was usually oiled, as to ensure not puncturing any organs, inserted through the victim's anus until it came out of their mouth. And you have to remember that they were alive while this was happening. Now, there were instances when stakes were forced through other orifices or through the chest or abdomen, and records also indicate that sometimes victims were hung upside down on the stake, slowly being tortured to death. Death by impalement is a slow and torturous process. Victims were sometimes left for hours or days in agonizing pain. Vlad was also known to arrange stakes in geometric patterns, leaving the corpses outside to rot for months at a time. One of the most famous woodcuts of this period features Vlad feasting in a forest of stakes, while a nearby executioner cuts apart other victims. This place was referred to as the Forest of the Impaled. Now, as the story goes, it was supposed to exemplify Vlad's sense of humor. It is said that while feasting, a nearby servant held his nose in the air, and Vlad asked, "Why do you do this?" When the servant responded, "I cannot stand the stench, my lord," Vlad immediately ordered him impaled, retorting, "Then you shall live up there where the stench cannot reach you." Vlad the Impaler's reign was notoriously dark. He was characterized as being a sadistic ruler who took pleasure in torturing and killing his enemies. Although the actual number of people he killed is not known, it is said to be somewhere between 40 and 100,000. This makes Vlad the Impaler, aka Dracula, the most notorious serial killer of all time. Join me in a future video when we'll discuss how a psychiatrist killed an elephant by feeding him too much LSD. That and other trippy facts about acid. Join me in a future video when we're going to talk about AIDS. Is it true that a guy really had sex with a monkey? Or was it all just a government conspiracy concocted in the laboratory? Tune in and find out. Thanks for tuning in today to join me on our discussion of Vlad the Impaler, and I pre-apologize, I did not know how bad it was going into this. Anyways guys, please feel free to rate the video, leave me any comments that you'd like, and tune in next time.